The Master Foster is back at it again. So what's up guys, it's Max Clausen and we're going to be doing a deck profile of the one, the only, Red Dragon Archfiend, the king of speed, Jack Atlas's deck. So this is a little fun deck I just bought on a whim. Just I'm like, you know what? I have the Lubellian Bestial stuff. I have a lot of good cards. Why not? I play this deck. And fun fact, I did originally have this kind of deck before, but this was before the structure deck came out, so we didn't have things like Bone Archfiend or the Soul Resonator, Vision Resonator, all the good stuff that helps make Red Dragon a pretty decent rogue deck. It's still terrible. It's still crap, don't get me wrong, but it's still a pretty fun deck that you can just take to locals and just, you know, have fun with. It is given like in archetype ways of stopping the opponent, like Fiendish Chain, because fun fact, that is a Jack Atlas card and a way to search Fiendish Chain, but that's not in this profile. Maybe I'll put it in an update. This video gets to like maybe, why not 50 likes, I guess. I'll make an update to this little side fun deck, but without further ado, we're gonna get into the main and extra. No side because it's just for fun, and you know, I'm not sure if I'll take this to a locals yet, but let's jump into this video. So as you may already seen from other profiles of this deck that have been out, you know, we usually late to the structure deck game here, guys, but we do play the 3-Bone Archfiend. You can deactivate his effect to discard a card and summon him from the hand. Then, while he's on the field, you can send a Fiend Tuner to the graveyard to increase a face-up monster on your side of the field by 1 or lower it by 1. He'll help with climbing into your level 7 plays, your level 6 plays, or whatever have. We're pretty much just about it. But your main focus is starting off with your Red Rising Dragon and going off from there. Next up for the Resonators, the cuter versions of the Synchrons, in my opinion, are these 3 new Soul Archfiend, which is a pretty great card that this deck definitely needed for more searchability. On summon, he can add any level 4 or lower Fiend monster from your deck to your hand, which is a good plethora, so, you know, there is some formulas generating there. And while he's in the graveyard, if your cards would be destroyed by battle or card effect, your Dark Dragon Synchro monsters rather, you can banish him from the graveyard instead. So if they would be destroyed by battle or effects, even your own, you can just banish him and just make some plays from there. Next up for the next Resonator, I do opt to play the 2 Crimson Resonator. The ratios in this deck can very much vary. Wow, nice wordplay. It can vary depending on how you want to play the deck. If you want to play 3 Crimson, then you can, to have more like searching and dumping with Bone Resonator. But I decided to play the 2 because I don't want to brick on too many tuners, because that is a problem with some decks in the 5Ds era. Crimson Resonator, he's a Cyber Dragon, and while you control only a Dark Dragon Synchro monster and him, you can activate his effect to summon 2 Resonators from your up to 2 Resonators from your deck, which is pretty helpful. So he'll help search out. The other boy that we like to summon is the 2 Vision Resonator. For this, I'm kind of saying maybe you'd like to play 3, because 2 is fine because you don't have that, depending on how many cards that specifically mention Red Dragon Archfiend spells and traps. You don't want to play too many of him, but maybe I'll bump the spell and trap count up and just play like a very first time playing a full structure deck built deck maybe. So who knows? That's in the idea works. But Vision Resonator, if there's a level 5 or higher dark monster on the field, you can special summon this card, and when it's sent to the graveyard, it can add a spell or trap that specifically mentions Red Dragon Archfiend. And what's cute about this card is, you know, take a look at it, guys. It's Carly mixed with Jack's Resonators. So cute. You know, ship the Carly and Jack Atlas couple there. Next up, we have the Synchron Resonator. Not Synchron, Synchron. You can special summon this card if there's a synchro monster on the field, and when he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one of your other resonators back to your hand, except himself, which is sad. But always, which is another thing that's great about 5D's eras, a lot of stuff is not once per turn, and this is one of them. So if you have two of them on the field, you sync with both, you can activate both effects and get two resonators back from your hand, from your deck graveyard to the hand. You'd probably want to go for these two. Really depends on the situation or what other resonators you have in your build. But 2 is pretty much the perfect number to play in any Crimson Dragon deck. Next up, we have the Bestials. We're playing the 3 Bestial Lubellion, the 1 Magnamut, the 1 Druis Worm, and the 1 Serenir. All of these help you climb into your level 8 or level 9 Dark Synchro Dragons, even higher, or level 10. Since Lubellion is 10, we have level 2 tuners. But they really do help to like make this deck make a good push in the metagame, so to speak. You should know what the Bestials do by now, but if not, Lubellion, discard, add any of these to your hand. These are your hand traps of the deck per se. Banish a light or a dark from either graveyard. Quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. Magnamut at the end of the turn searches a dragon from your graveyard or deck to your hand. Druis Worm will target a special summon monster on the field and send it to the grave. Serenir will dump a bestial monster or a branded spell or trap card. Self-explanatory. Next up, we do play the 1 Nibiru, the triple Ash Blossom, and the 2 Joel and Lockbird. You already know why this ratio is here, why it's like this, so shouldn't really have to explain that, but these are just the good hand traps you would also just want to play to interact with your opponent, or punish them for overextending, keep them from interacting with the deck, and keep them from adding cards from their deck to their hand anymore for the rest of the turn. That is it for our monster lineup. Let's go right into these spells and traps. We have 3 Resonator Call. You can opt to not play this, but I feel like having this will make your opponent go like, do I want to Ash that, or do I just let them go ahead and do this and that? Because depending on your hand, you would need like maybe 2 Resonators. You get Soul, and then you get Crimson for like the Crimson Dragon, not Crimson, wow, the Cyber Dragon effect. The special summon Crimson, and then just normal summon Soul Resonator. Get your search off, go on from there. Also, your Bone and your Soul Resonator, I do believe, lock you into Dark Dragon Synchro for the rest of the turn, so there is no playing Link monsters in here, no teching in other Synchro monsters, which is unfortunate, but, you know, in a structure deck, you are given a lot of other good, powerful stuff, so that's a little self-centered there. You got to play the 3 Crimson Gaia, searches any spell or trap, any card rather, that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend to your hand, or you add Red Dragon Archfiend himself. So I believe, yeah, you can add them from your graveyard back to your hand, so you can get Red Dragon Archfiend back into your extra deck pretty easily. And once per turn, you can search. Yeah, that's the effect to search out once per turn. And when your Red Dragon Archfiend battles, you can activate this effect to Book of Eclipse your opponent's field, so that procs off Red RDA's destruction ability to destroy everything that's in defense mode, which is pretty sick. And should one of your monsters die by battle or effect, you can summon a Red Dragon Archfiend back from your graveyard, which is pretty cool. Next, we do have the 3 crossed out, because those hand traps that I showed before do hurt this deck, Joel especially. We have the 2 triple tactics to help get us into more cards or look at our opponent's hand or steal a monster. We have the 1 branded regain and the 1 called by, getting us our Bestials back should our opponent summon and interact with anything banish related, and stop those annoying hand traps like Joel or Ash, or even Veiler. Next up, we play the 1 Red Zone. This card is very, very interesting. However, it does not work the best way I would like it to, because again, this is still a red dragon deck. It's not the best. This card, while you control red dragon Archfiend, if your opponent activates something, you activate this and destroy a card on their field. And once per turn, you can summon back one of your banished Dark Dragon Synchro monsters. Which, wish this was much better. Like, I wish this card was like the Kashtira of things. Like, after resolution, you like, effect, destroy. Like, come on. You could have made this goddamn support much better than it is, but whatever. Next, we have the Branded Beast. You know what it does. And we have the Itu the Branded, which is our sync, whatever that trap card is that lets you sync during your opponent's turn just to get into our CD crit calamities faster. That's it for the main deck, standard 40. Now let's jump into the pretty self-explanatory extra deck. You gotta play the 3 Red Rising Dragon. This helps start up all your combos, and his effects are not once per turn, except the one from the graveyard, which I never knew he had. So on Synchro Summon, you can special summon one of your Resonators back from the graveyard, so to help you Synchro Climb. And during the main phase, except the turn he was sent to the graveyard, you can banish him, add 2 level 1 Fiend Tuners back to your hand, which I hate that it's so descriptive, like specific. Like, why does it have to be exactly level 1 Fiend Tuners? Like, come on, we have so many good ones that Jack needs more help with. Next is the Kui Belt for targeting removal. Next, you gotta play the 2 of the original boy, the Red Dragon Archfiend. His effect, you should know what this does. Anything that doesn't attack, he blows it up, get off the field, but you can save it with your Soul Resonator. You have 2 Scarred Dragon Archfiend. When this card leaves the monster zone via synchro material, you can summon Red Dragon Archfiend straight from the extra deck, which is counted as a synchro summon, so you don't even have to normally summon this. And when it leaves the field, in the same chain, it can destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. So he'll punish defenses, he'll punish things left in attack. So your opponent has to pick their poison. Next, we do have the 1 Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend to help win in time, which is a pretty great card. Remember when this card came out first? I probably get this secret rare again. Next, we have 2 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. This card is one of my favorite versions of Red Dragon Archfiend, and it actually can get over something like Dark Ruler No More. Droplets, not so sure, depending on if they sent a monster. Well, maybe, because this card works very funnily. So off rip, you should already know he can target a face-up card on the field and negate its effects to the end of the turn. So the whole thing is, I like to point out about this card that this does beat Dark Ruler. You just have to have something chainable. So Dark Ruler says you cannot activate monsters in response to this card's activation. However, when you activate something yourself in response to Dark Ruler, in that same chain, in response to your card, this can activate, target Dark Ruler, turn it off. If they didn't send I believe it works the same with droplets. Like if they sent something that's not a trap or a spell, like if they just sent monsters, you can respond with a spell or a trap, go like chain one of my back row cards, then chain to that, use Hot Red to target your droplets and negate it. I believe it can work like that. If you guys know if it does or not, let me know in the comments. But if it does, this card is much more better than I ever thought. Next, we have the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Well, Bane, rather. You can tribute 1 monster, target one of your Dark Dragon Synchros in the graveyard. Special summon it. Next, we do have the Despater, because you know why he's in here. We have the Red Supernova Dragon, which is a board wipe, so your opponent has to deal with this card if they can. And then we just have the turn ender, King Calamity. Surprising, this guy did not get hit. It's ridiculous. Like Centurion, anything that can make level 12s easily, and can summon Crimson Dragon. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, it's funny how this deck doesn't even need Crimson Dragon, even though this is a Cyber Dragon deck at the end of the day. But that's gonna be it for this quick deck profile. I say quick, but it's still 15 minutes. If you guys enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and share this with anybody you know that loves 5Ds, loves Red Dragon Archfiend, or loves Jack Atlas, or just loves Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. And, you know, like I say, if this video gets to like 50 likes, I'll very likely do an update to it. Maybe the next one will be like just using the $30 structure decks, because they do have some pretty good cards in there, and helps 1-for-1 the opponent. But with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you all in the next video. See ya.